In What's New to BGA brings you Tiny Towns. Tiny Towns is a resource management building game where you're going to be building a small little town made up of resource cubes. Fairly popular game, rated 7.2, 21,000 ratings, overall rated 476. It is a 1 to 6 player game, but it is voted best with 3, and you see the weight's pretty light. BGA says it'll take about 22 minutes to play, and it is a premium game. It also says it's good on mobile, so I'll share a screenshot of what that looks like here. This one plays pretty good turn-based because you all play kind of at the same time for part of your turn at least. Okay, so this game is played on a 4x4 grid. You see here my board and my competitor's board next to me. The game is over once this board is filled with either resources or buildings, and then you can no longer build any buildings with those resources. At the beginning of the game, you have to choose between 2 of the monuments you are given. In this game, each building will be different minus the cottage. The cottage is always in the game in this color layout. Then the rest of the buildings, like the orchard, for example, here, this red building, you always play with one red building, but it's not always the orchard. It's a different random one. And same goes for the rest of the buildings. So that way the game is slightly different every time because no 2 games should have the same buildings for the most part. In this game, whoever is the lead player will pick a resource first. So my opponent picked a grain, so I will place that on the board. Then during my turn, you can see how I am the master builder, the first player, and I get to pick which resources we're going to use this turn. After I select it, I add it to my play area and then hit done. After I pick my resource, my opponent then uses the resource himself. The game follows where the master builder picks a resource and then other players follow using that same resource. After placing the resources, if you match the picture like so, you can click on the building and you can build it. The building has to go on one of the spaces where the resources were. So here. Now I don't have to follow this pattern exactly. I can flip it, rotate it, etc. And I'll show you what it looks like when you flip it. Now on my plot of land, I flipped it, but you can see how it still works. And I select it, and then it's going to ask you where you want to build it. You have to pick one of the spots where the resources were. You click there, then build. You remove all the resources, and now you have an orchard there. Now a few things with the resources. Resources can never be moved. The only way they can be removed is when you build a building with those resources. Only one resource or building may occupy 1 square, and then when resources are removed, they go back to the supply. Then the cards have a few things. First, this is the name of the building. It is different for every game. Then you have the symbol. You play each game with one type of this building. So this is the green building for this game. Then you have the resource cube pattern, the way you need to build it. This is different for each building. And then finally, the ability and how you score it is down below. And again, it's different for each building. Now, once your town is filled with resources and you cannot or choose not to construct buildings, your town is complete and you are out of the game. If other players are still going, they will still be the master builder, they will still pick the cubes, and if you're only playing with 2 players, the other player will still just pick cubes as a sole master builder until his or her town is complete. When scoring, you remove all resource cubes that are on the board, with the exception of warehouses, they stay on there. Then each empty space is worth 1 negative point, and you will subtract that. Then you simply look through each building and see which buildings are fed. Certain buildings, if they get fed, are worth points, like the cottage. And then each building will score additional points, and it'll just be varied on your game setup. This is my score sheet here, and what it looked like. We both lost 2 points for 2 empty spaces, and then you can see where each color scored. Overall, I really like Tiny Towns. I gave it a 7. I actually own it physically, and I gave it a 7 a while ago before it came on BGA. I think it's a great addition to BGA. There's a solo version on BGA that I played in beta and had a lot of fun with, but it's also great to play with a couple of friends. 3 is voted best, as you see here. Well, as always, I've been the Digital Board Gamer. Good luck and have fun.